out of college and start his own law firm or get a job in big boss man's big law firms. He can't, you don't have the access. Say 5 or 10% got some of that access, but not the majority of them. So the white boys go to school for one thing, Negroes go to school for another. They have black judges flooding the place. You have tons of women now who are not only lawyers, but they're judges from way back in my time. All those disenfranchised people, they go into the system. You would think that if, we got a black judge, he's going to be nice to me because he's black. Hey, you're in trouble. Because that judge looks at you and said, this low-down nigga is messing it up for all of us. If you were a better person, you don't go add up what he knows, like, all the disadvantages of the guy. The guy don't even know he's a damn fool. He just grew up in a neighborhood. He didn't happen to go to school and get a job or get, he's a statistic, they call him. He's a statistic. Okay. Since that's what our people are right now, we want to, we're reaching out to our people. Who are we reaching out to? We're reaching out to the Abdul Maliks, even the Mukhtar and Khadijah, and all the other Negro school teachers and professors from Oakland and around here, and all the other Negro personalities. It's not about me, thee, or them. It's about the world needs them. They don't know it. They don't know it. They don't know it. We got to show them how. We got to show our people. Well, that's what we're talking about now. Showing our people how to think beyond. You are not part of the solution. You are now technically a part of the problem, the historical problem. You have to think bigger than, I just want my kids to have education where they won't have too many problems. And nobody wants to, we like problems. We love harassment. How many people you think like to be harassed by the police? Or harassed by the system? Or holes punched in their roofs? Don't nobody want that. The only people want that is, people that are out there, like myself. Look, I'm going to tell you this. I don't have no reason not to do this and have this attitude. Why? I've always been in the most trouble, and everybody, the little jails I went to, I stayed in the hole all the time. Why? Because the other little tough guys would be beating up other black kids, right? Or white kids for a reputation or for, that's a bad little nigga there. But I was always harassing the officer, making fun of him. I didn't know what I was doing. I just know whatever I was doing, it went to the hole. I went to the hole all the time. Every place I ever went, I was wind up in the hole over. Rains, roll it up. Get your stuff to gear, you go into the hole all the time. I didn't know what it was. I didn't really begin to realize till I was grown. What they call a little girl in the movie, Divergent. This nigga is Divergent. He don't like that. Whatever they doing, he gonna tease them about it. He don't fit into that. And if we leave him around, everybody's going to listen to him. Because he's talking fast and having fun. And everybody the life of the party, even in the jail. You figure out when you're a little leader, you find that out fast. You know, you say, well, I'm a natural leader. Right? That's why I named myself Musa, Moses. Why? Because I've always been a leader, and I just assume that whatever's going on, I'm going to be somewhere in it. Not because, well, I just got to be the chief. No, it ain't that. It's just that throughout history, this has been what's going on. Now, dear Moses, let's look what Moses was dealing with and who he was dealing with. Who did he have to lead? Why, the most rambunctious, hard, and like white folks say, like herding cats, right? The Yahoo and the Negroe are symbiotic. They're about the same crew, right? Negroes and the Yahoo of those days, same crew, ain't no different. So that's who you're going to be dealing. You want to be a chief? Well, that's who you're going to be dealing with. So you prepare yourself decades ahead of time. So this stuff is no surprise. This stuff is not any surprise. On the overlooking people and forgiving, not forgiving, hiding brothers' faults, that's rare in most people, because people want to revenge. That's why the black gangs, you don't have to worry about it. Just have one do something other, and they, for the rest of the season, they just gonna wipe each other out. Because it ain't no forgiveness, it ain't no overlooking, none of that. When I had one of the big Negroes, he was a big preacher now there, right there in Oakland, one of my best friends. When he was coming up right behind me, somebody was saying something. The word was out, and it got serious that his wife committed suicide because she thought we was going to do something to him. He never mentioned it. I went by his house one morning. We've been up all night, maybe snorting a little cocaine and stuff. It was early in the morning, so he was rolling his eyes, and I said, I just wanted to holler at you. He said, niggas say that I said, that's why I came by here, because that's what I heard. Niggas said something. I'm here to tell you what I say. And last year he said, man, we've been friends ever since. I mean, real good friends, you know. I said, of course, because somebody divide, conquer, niggas fighting each other. I'm big, he's coming up next to me. They want what niggas naturally do, right? The big nigga try to squash everybody. I never was like that. I said, man, if we living in a gold mine and there's a pot of gold, 20 pots of gold under this rainbow, I said, I'm going to carry one here, and try to carry one here. I said, if I try to knock yours out of your hand, I'm going to drop all of mine. That's why he used to think. I can't carry all the gold. I can't carry all of what I got now. Right? Remember, this fitna is new to what y'all hear. This is not new. It's been exactly the same all the time. The government have been messing with what we're doing all along, and we get more money than everybody else, even then. And then had money to go overseas and give to people, go all around. Can you imagine what type of life that is? Every jungle in South America, you've seen it. All the high mountains, the special Machu Picchu's and the pyramids of Egypt, Musa, Tunja, the Great Water. You've been to all of that. You see all of that. Other niggas don't see that. They stay where the niggas stay. When I travel in the world, one thing I didn't see is Negroes. That was 50 years ago. But I don't think we travel that much now. In those days, it wasn't but 2 or 3 Negroes had passports. Now kids get passports. But passports, because they don't go nowhere. they listen to what boss man tell them. Anyway, let me see what we're gonna try to finish this up here. So, a call to the Negro. Outgrow self-imposed boundaries. In other words, be big. In order to do this, we have to outgrow what we thought of ourselves and what the Euro taught us who we was. Self-imposed boundaries. We have to get big. And we have to do this in a hurry. I mean, like any day we feel like it, we'll be happy. We got to get big now. We don't have there's no guarantee on the world will even be here. This stuff is accelerating so fast, going downhill. It's like the big trucks when they go downhill. You ever be out on the highway? Them big trucks, man, they pick up speed. And the police wait for Negroes and truck drivers at the bottom of the hill. Out on the highway all the time. Why you ain't up at the top of the hill? Who the hell's going fast uphill? The car just picks up momentum and the police know it. He's at least halfway downhill, 3/4 downhill, or heading back in a cut. That's the early was halfway. Most of them are 3/4 downhill. Some are almost at the very bottom. And they just pick people off and write tickets. What about a system? The system. Is the system getting better or is it in decline? That's what we have to ask. The simple question, is life getting better or worse? Is the air getting cleaner or dirtier? Is the oceans purifying itself? How about the coral reefs? All those questions. Ask yourself any question. Are there more fish in the sea? Or whatever else you want to ask. Is it better or is it worse? What about the acceleration in inertia? If it accelerates a little bit more, before you can stop it, it keeps going the same way as when you're in the car and you stop and move to the front. Therefore, we see our first allies. Years ago, it was in the newspapers everywhere that we see our allies save the whales people and all that. That's true. Earth firsters. So this is not a new thing. We've been picking up on this go way back. But we had our little political stuff to deal with, and now the political stuff don't seem too important. It don't seem important. This stuff is important. Because if we're politically successful and the world is gone, what the hell do we? That's the dumb. We dumb as they is, right? Trying to get more of this, and that's all gone. Or gone so far, you can't stop it. See, those people don't love Allah's creation. They don't care for fresh air. They just put a little fresh air machine in that, clean up, and it's okay. We don't care. We don't have to wear masks. We're not going out in that stuff. And if we go in our car, we got air filters in the car. The air conditioning, had it installed. Purified air. The only time we're going to be in that air is we walk from our big giant building, zoom into the car. And that's it. We ain't going to take but two. We're going to hold our breath doing that, right? Because the air is purified in the building, but not in my house, in your house. So, okay. We have to outgrow self-imposed boundaries. That means that our brothers and sisters that have been a part of trying to hold us back, trying to divert us, that's a proven failure. Everybody done failed. No matter how they look at it, what people have been doing in Oakland, what people are doing, it's a failure. It's a failure. They failed. Out of everything that the government has said or tried to do to us, it was a failure. If they try to depress us, we're not depressed. If they try to divert us, well, we get the Medal of Honor because we done outproduced everybody, in our history. Malcolm X, they never had a chance to get to where we are. Just because nobody talks about it, they all talk about it. If you go on Netflix right now, there's a thing by our brother, he's narrating about Malcolm X. Like you say, it's a diversion. Maybe to make some of us mad. Like, he ain't nobody. Why I ain't doing it? I'm sorry, we don't do that. Boss man can do that stuff all of the when they have their Negroes on the roster. Whoo, shaking the roster. We just look and say, We don't say, I wish I was up there rallying the people. Absolutely not. We don't do that. We're not made like that. That's why they always make a mistake. They're trying to make, we say it every week, if a Negro like pretty girls just naturally, or even to look a certain way, you don't count out nobody else, but they're nice to look at. But they're not something you want to bring home. Right? You don't change your character for it, or you don't, everybody else may do that. Hey, man, I'm gonna get with that. No, we just don't do that. Why? Because it's not important. And a lot of people don't, Medal of Honor, I'm the only Negro probably in history that did 14 years of celibacy at the height of youth, running the hills, juiced up, late 30s and early, and all the 40s. Hey, man, and just cruising along. It ain't time for that because the movement is more important than that. So if you don't mess around when you're in your 40s and late 30s, what about when you're 70s? You ain't even thinking about it. Y'all is crazy, right? Here they come with the same old bait, throwing that bait. Why are you throwing that bait out? If I wasn't biting it at 35 or 40, how am I be biting at it and I'm 100 years old? And believe it or not, there comes a time when that type of thing is not important. It's just not, you might be functional, but it's not important. It just ain't important at all. Sometimes people don't believe what they're seeing. They think, that nigga got something, we'll run this on 1, 2, 3. After 40 or 50 years, they ought to get tired of that. They haven't got tired yet. Okay. Call to the Negro, outgrow your self-imposed boundaries. We say be big. Be big? No, it's possible. We were made little by Boss Man. Boss Man, he made Negroes little and to feel unimportant. And that your biggest goal is to be some part of my system. Right? And if you behave, if you're a singer, you behave long enough, and the dice roll right, we'll make you #1 Negro for a while. But if you're talking the truth, the word goes out, that nigga is telling the truth. He's never going to be #1 on nothing but the poorhouse list. Which is basically true, right? All them Professor Griffiths and all them guys, That's what happened to him. Okay? Gangster rap, kill that bitch, shoot that nigga, beat that nigga upside the head, Snoop Doggy Dogg and all of that, right? That's what they did, and they made them niggas number one. Not the positive family and society and the black man. No. We can't have that. That's wrong. So what do we get? We get a culture of buffoons, of low quality everything. Because the high quality is not what they're looking for. They're looking at people that will sing their song. So you're going to get low quality standards. If you have Barbra Streisand type Jews singing in the movies and all of that, it's going to be the lower class. Because a white girl or a Negro that can out-sing her, they want her there. Lower the standards. They lower the standards by putting who they want in there. All the Negroes you see are low standard Negroes. They talk real good. What do they produce? Go find them. Go find them right now. What do they produce? It's not bragging. We done outproduced all of them with both hands tied behind our back and feet tied together. They done made a Houdini out of us. Where Houdini, they drop him in the water with his hands cuffed behind him and his feet shackled, and he got to get out of it. And we do. That's what the Medal of Honor is about. We've been tied, handcuffed, sabotaged. You wouldn't believe it. Well, you would believe it because you see it. That's what's happened to us. That's why the Medal of Honor. And attitude, somebody in Oakland said something about, I don't know, it was attitude or, look, it must have been over a decade ago. We went to a meeting and they held a meeting. They wasn't having an MCA, that's Santa Clara. They had it in San Jose at the Saba Center. That's the Shia Center, in big giant center out there. They had the meeting there, and they had all the people in the Bay Area. Some came from, I might have mentioned, from all as far back as Kansas City. I mentioned that when we went to the MC, whatever they call that thing over there. And they said, Imam Musa, we want